What's crackin' peeps? I'm Acelk, or otherwise known as Kiv, and in this video, well, we're going to be continuing the Fact Friday series, and it's going to be focused this time on weird sports. So, let's jump right into it. So the gameplay is just going to be some Battlefield 4 in the background. I was playing some of it, trying to get a couple of clips in Battlefield, and then I figured, you know what, let's just pull out a normal gun for a little bit, and we'll see how we go. Actually, I think this is the engineer class, so I was trying to RPG a couple of helicopters, and I know I do kind of do that in a couple of times as gameplay, but, you know, it's kind of meh until, like, the fact that, you know, I don't particularly get a good RPG. It's kind of like, you know, already sitting on top of a building, half crashed, so I just blow it up. It's not particularly too amazing of a RPG shot at all. But anyway, moving on to our Fact Friday, it's going to be about weird sports, and I found some pretty interesting, like, sports. They are not only weird, but some of them are actually really, really cool. So to start off with, we have Bossa Ball. To explain this, basically imagine volleyball with a trampoline underneath you. That is sick. I love it. 10 out of 10. It sounds so cool. It's pretty much just volleyball, normal, same rules. 3 to 5 players per team, and they can hit or kick the ball over the net to the opposing team's side of the court. Like in volleyball, points are scored when the ball hits the floor, and I reckon this would be so much fun to play, having a trampoline underneath you while you're playing volleyball. And like one of the main I believe the main moves is where you jump up and then you kind of go upside down and then you kick the ball downwards. It looks super sick, and I love it. 10 out of 10. Would definitely try if I had the opportunity to, because I'm not particularly the tallest bloke. I'm not short, but I guess you could say I'm kind of average, maybe even a little bit below average height, so I'm not that amazing. And this is the RPG I'm talking about. It's pretty shitty, to be honest. But anyway, moving on, it's a really, really cool sport, and I love the sound of it. I would definitely play it if I had the chance. Moving on from that, though, we have wife carrying, which originated in I'm going to butcher the pronunciation as per the usual, Sonkarjavi. No idea what that is supposed to be like, because it's got the dots above the letters, and I have no idea how you pronounce those things. But anyway, it's in Finland, which is a sport where the male competitors race to carry their female teammate through an obstacle course in the shortest time. Not only does the winner get the actual championship and the glory, but he also gets his wife's weight in beer for free. Like, he wins that much. That is a good deal. That is definitely a good deal. That's awesome. But yeah, if you watch the Beta House, then you know what it is and stuff. But I'm not going to go further into it than that. It's a really, like, kind of weird but also interesting sport. Dog surfing is also another sport that's kind of weird, but also it's really cool, because you wouldn't know that, like, you know, dogs can do that much. But there are actually really competitions held in Southern California, and it originated in San Diego apparently. So yeah, it's actually, you know, it's on the rise. It's on the rise, and This is where the sports gets weird, okay? We have Unicycle Polo. As if just riding a unicycle didn't look funny enough, alright? We have to add mallets and a ball, and then you've got truly wacky spectacle, alright? It's really a fun game. It looks fun for the participants, but if you can't ride a unicycle, then you're not going to have a fun time, because there'll be just so much crashing into each other. It's not even funny, alright? It would be so funny, I reckon, to watch, but I don't know. I think I'd be pretty much, like, the worst at playing this, because I can't ride a unicycle for anything. I've never even tried. I don't want to try. Alright, anyway, the next sport is called chess boxing, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's so simple, but yet so amazing. It's the ultimate mashup of brains and brawn. Alright, chess boxing is just pretty much boxing and chess in separate rounds and stuff. It's alternating rounds of chess and boxing, and I can't really imagine if they'd be thinking too clearly when they've been just mashed in the head a bunch of times, alright? I'm not sure how it would affect how you play chess, but I reckon that would be really intense, because you just, like, you know, have a massively, like, intense boxing round, and then you just sit down and play some chess. And it's so crazy, man. But yeah, I reckon that's a really cool, interesting sport. Anyway, moving on, we have cheese rolling, and this is probably the only interesting sport that actually involves food, but either way, cheese rolling is a tradition that is over 200 years old, and every year in the spring bank holiday, a round of cheese is rolled down Cooper's Hill in Gloucester, England. Competitors race down the hill after the cheese, and the first one to the bottom wins the cheese. And as silly as it sounds, injuries are actually pretty common, and the 2010 cheese rolling had to be cancelled due to safety concerns. But yeah, and then now we have probably the the most unsafe sport I've ever even heard of. It's the weirdest sport right now. Blind soccer. It sounds super confusing, but it actually makes a bit of sense because all the players are legally blind. They are actually blind by, like, the default. It's not as if they're wearing a blindfold and they can, pop it up and take a sneak peek and run after the ball. No, it's not like that. They are all actually blind, so they can't see whatsoever. And if you ask, how do they tell where the ball is and stuff? Well, they have pebbles in the ball. And I think it's really cool because when you're blind, you kind of enhance all your other senses. Well, I believe that's how it goes, isn't it? Yeah, when you are blind, when you lose that sense of sight, your hearing, your taste, your touch and stuff, they are all enhanced. So I reckon that's really cool, but I think it'll be really interesting as well to how do you tell the difference between someone who's next to you who's on your team or not. I reckon the communication would be absolutely insane, the amount of communication you would need between your teammates and to make sure that you aren't running straight head on into another person of the opposing team. So I reckon that's really interesting and also super cool in the same sense as well, because I mean, blind people don't, they can't particularly participate in sports because they can't particularly see. So I reckon it's really cool that they had a sport for them and everything. I think it's a really inspirational sport and it's really cool. I like the idea of it as well. But yeah, moving on, we're going to finish off on a really insane one. It's called Towin Surfing. And normally when you surf, you kind of paddle out to this wave, but in this one, it's used that way you get to the wave quicker when it's larger. So you kind of get like towed in by a jet ski to the wave and you catch it when it's a lot bigger. And this sport has caused some of the biggest waves to be surfed, and the biggest one in the sport that was ever surfed was 90 feet. And for those of you who are metric, that is pretty much 27.5 meters. 27.5 meter high wave. I can't even imagine that in front of me. That is so insanely high. That guy must have thought he was tripping balls when he first saw that wave. It was so massive. It would have been, honestly, but I think that's so cool how they just enhance the sport, and it's a simple enhancement, but it also makes it so much bigger and so much more insane. I reckon that's awesome. But yeah, that just about does it for this Fact Friday. It's not particularly too much on the weird sports towards the end, but it was actually some really interesting ones and some really cool ones as well. So I really hope that you've all enjoyed this video. Make sure that you leave a like, comment, favorite, and or subscription. It helps out the channel. Also gives me a nice, really cool, fuzzy, warm feeling on the inside. So yeah, make sure that you do that. Leave a like, comment, favorite, and or subscription. But until then, I guess I'll catch you all on the next episode. I've been Ace Hawk, or otherwise known as Kiev, and I'm out.